In this video, our goal is to solve 10 cosine squared theta minus 7 cosine theta plus 1 equals 0 for theta between 0 and 360 degrees. The first thing to notice is that this equation is quadratic because cosine is being squared. So what we're going to do to get started is to make a substitution. Let's let x be equal to cosine of theta. Then we have 10x squared minus 7x plus 1 is equal to 0. And we recognize this as a quadratic equation, and we can always use the quadratic formula to solve it, but in this case I think we'll be able to factor. If we multiply the a and the c together, 10 times 1, that gives us 10. And what we want to do is to think of two factors of 10 that add up to negative 7. And that would be negative 2 and negative 5. So we can rewrite that middle term. We can write this as 10x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 1 is equal to 0. And then now we use grouping. For the first two terms, there's a common factor of 2x, which leaves us with a factor of 5x minus 1. With the second two terms, we can factor out a negative 1, and that leaves us with a factor of 5x minus 1. And then we can factor out the 5x minus 1, and that gives us 5x minus 1 times 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. And we can double check. 5x times 2x gives us 10x squared. 5x times minus 1 is minus 5x. Minus 2x is minus 7x. And minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. So it checks out. From here, we can set each factor equal to 0. And when we do, we end up with x is equal to 1/5, or x is equal to 1/2. At this point, we can substitute cosine theta back in for x, and we get cosine of theta is equal to 1/5, or cosine of theta is equal to 1/2. Now for cosine theta equals 1/2, we might recognize that 1/2 is one of our special values for cosine. It occurs where the reference angle is 60 degrees. So our reference angle here is equal to 60 degrees. Cosine's positive in the first and the fourth quadrants. So theta 1 will be equal to 60 degrees, and theta 2 will be our angle in the fourth quadrant, and 360 minus 60 is 300 degrees. Now cosine theta equals 1/5. 1/5 is not one of our special values, so for that one we're going to have to find the inverse cosine. So our reference angle will be equal to the inverse cosine of 1/5. Using our calculator, that comes out to approximately 78.46 degrees. Because cosine's positive, we know that our angles are going to be in the first and the fourth quadrants. So theta 3 will be the angle in the first quadrant, which is 78.46 degrees. And theta sub 4, that will be the angle in the fourth quadrant, which will be 360 degrees minus 78.46 degrees. That comes out to 281.54 degrees. And here in Desmos, we can verify those solutions graphically. I've sketched a graph of y equals 10 cosine squared x minus 7x plus 1. And a graph of y is equal to 0. And we can see that the two curves intersect each other at 60 degrees, 78.46 degrees, 281.54 degrees, and 300 degrees.